Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular council meeting for Monday, December the 8th. I'd like to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded for public viewing. With that, do I have a motion to adopt this evening's agenda?
So moved.
So moved by Councillor Bannister, seconded by Deputy Mayor Blinas. Questions to the motion? Any more questions to the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Reminded, motion carried. I'll remind everybody that there's conflict of interest declaration forms in the cabinet. Fill them in if you have any this evening, letting the clerk know the reason why. And with that, we'll look for a motion to adopt the minutes from the regular council meeting from November 17th, 2025.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Bannister, second by Councillor Thorne. Questions to the motion? Any more questions to the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Reminded, motion carried. Moving on to item 4.2, committee of the whole meeting from November the 24th, 2025. Do I have a motion? So moved by Deputy Mayor Blinas, seconded by Councillor Thorne. Questions to the motion? No questions to the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. Moving on to item number 5, consent agenda items. You would have had those in your packages. Do I have a motion to accept those?
So moved.
So moved by Councillor Bannister, seconded by Councillor Crowell. Questions to the motion?
I have a question, and I don't wanna have to pull it out yet.
If you have a question, you have to pull it.
It's more of a
Logistical question?
question.
Yeah,
There's a written motion in 5.2.
anytime that the consent agenda is adopted, the motions are adopted. Yeah, we do that sometimes with funding applications too, yeah. So if, so moved by Bannister, seconded by Caldwell, it was a consent agenda. Same thing for those specific motions, yeah. That's all legit, yeah, we can answer those ones.
Okay. Okay. No additional questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Moving on to items 6, public and administrative presentations. I'd like to invite Sergeant Ricky Long from the Caledonia RCMP Regional Attachment to come forward. Welcome back, Ricky.
Well,
We missed you.
yeah.
Thanks, good to hear. Basically started back in early October and trying to get back on top of things here. As you probably saw in media releases throughout the summer, it was a really busy time with the Southeast Crime Reduction Unit. So glad that we got quite a few arrests in this area and other areas in the Southeast done. And now that that's done, we're back to our regular scheduled job. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Don't have anything specific, other than just saying that we're obviously getting ready for the holidays, so a lot of proactive policing being done. We're actually gonna be present on Saturday for the Christmas parade. We'll have an officer in the parade. We've also been doing as you know, last year we did the Philly Cruiser here. We did one in Three Rivers this year, and we're also gonna be doing some stuff there for the food banks in the other areas as well, including Salisbury. So probably going to do some proactive check stops during the holidays right before, as we usually do. Carry out the ribbons for the Mad Canada as well. That's in the plans for the next few weeks.
Excellent. Well, we're very thrilled to have you back. I don't know when we missed you, but we do know you were doing important work as well. So do we have any questions from the council? I know we've had a lot of, you've been working on speed in our area, a lot of speeding complaints and that type of a thing. I know that over time, Austin, and we've been moving some of our units around, getting some data that we'll have some ability to talk to you about in the future on giving you some information potentially to let our public know that we're working together on those type of things when they do raise concerns.
Do you have any commentary on the recent amount of theft in the area?
I'd say theft right now is there's a bit everywhere in the region. Obviously, it's not specific to here, so we're targeting a few individuals in the area here that are also linked to the Moncton area, or I should say Kodiak area, and parts of this area as well, and even Shediac. So I know that our Southeast Crime Reduction Unit, from just leaving that, are working on a few targets. So it's always a continuous thing, as you know. We arrest them and continue on them as soon as they're out of custody as well. So.
So are the updates to the criminal code coming shortly? Will there be a benefit for that?
I don't know the full details of that yet. I know they've promised a few changes to the criminal code, some being reverse onus when it comes to violent property crime. Obviously, that would be very, very beneficial, would come back to more what we were looking at before the laws changed in the first level government a few years ago, which would mean that they have to prove that they're not gonna recommit before they come back and they get released, versus now that it's more about we have to prove that they're not gonna.
Another kind of an area that in our council's been concerned on, we've been advocating obviously with the RCP as well as the public safety minister is the motorized bicycles. But as we're coming into winter, actually I was very concerned about it before, but now I'm even more concerned because they're actually out now in the slushy slice and they're just zipping all over the place and it's very hard to enforce, but what can be done about that?
Yeah, so basically, I saw that the email that was the letter that was officially sent by CAO Henderson, and I think that would reply back by our district commander or the officer in charge of the region, obviously supported by our officer, main officer in Fredericton as well. What I would say that I've seen since I've been back is that a lot of people are talking about it, but not reporting it directly. So if I have Mayor Campbell, for an example, that's calling me and saying, I'll give a statement saying that CO Henderson is doing something, then obviously we can take action. If not, it's a hit or miss of us being in the region and catching them in the act. So I say that public support would be beneficial to get these people charged with. Right now, we're looking at Motor Vehicle Act infractions, and as you've noticed, there's work to be done under the Motor Vehicle Act so that these types of motorized bicycles can be properly quantified in the Motor Vehicle Act. And that's something that obviously has to go through the province and not the RCMP.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
So with the Crime Stoppers, is that something that could be, if Mayor Campbell doesn't want to be ratting out Jane Doe that's doing donuts up by the railroad track with his bike, can he report that through Crime Stoppers or is it only a specific type of crime that can be done through Crime Stoppers?
You can do it through Crime Stoppers. Again, it comes to my point earlier that everything that we do get from Crime Stoppers is a nice to know.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, I can't bring an anonymous complaint to a judge and say, this person is gonna testify to say that John Doe is doing this. So obviously, it's as we always say, it's let's say for property crime as an example. If I have information that a certain person is stealing in the area, then we can focus on that person more specifically. But we can't bring the complainant or the person giving that information in front of a judge to give testimony to prove that this person is doing the crime. So it is a good to know. But what I'm saying is that if we get the like statements directly from the public, that would help us even more because we can take immediate action.
Obviously.
I think for me, it's more the intention behind it is that it's not necessarily what Mayor Campbell's talking about, it's children who their safety is at risk. It's not that they're going to possibly hurt somebody else. I'm sure it could hurt, but
They're not wearing helmets, it's
I
dangerous.
know the residents are constantly sharing the concern about.
And I know from our end, we have our community policing officer that is going in the schools and is talking about education in regards to those items that we suggested that he talks about, especially here because it's happening here. It's for them to listen from there or that for us to do enforcement when we see it as well.
No, but I like that it has to be reported. I agree on that. So that's been with a lot of the crime around here that it can't be a Facebook post and.
No, that's fair. What about,
Irrespective of sense.
is there anything with the Federation that can be done?
Like,
Like, as far as,
Like-
especially if it's no helmets and stuff?
Well, these are individuals, like they're not.
these are pedal bikes.
Kids and bicycles.
Motors.
So they're taking modified kits that they get on Amazon, they're putting motors on the bikes.
Wow,
So these are like regular bikes, so they're just modified.
Sure, okay.
Example, there's.
Okay, so you know who these people are?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Constantly on my street, there's a presence, and I have a new driver, well, he's a little over a year, or almost a year, I guess, but, no lights.
Yeah.
All hours of the night, if he backs out of the driveway, instead of pulls out of the driveway, and,
So maybe some information so that maybe the cruiser can come in and.
Yeah, I think that's being shared, but.
Now, I'll give you guys an example. When e-scooters were brought in to the world, regulation was slow to follow that. I know from certain regions that they limit it to a certain CC for that specific city.
Mhm.
But we've seen really bad accidents happen with those e-bikes and scooters in the mountain area, for an example, on one of the main bridges going through the Riverview Mountain
Yes.
as an example. So that's one of the things that I say, like, as a municipality, you guys can certainly bylaw certain items. And I know that the Motor Vehicle Act does need a refresh when it comes to certain things that we're behind in regards to other provinces, for sure.
So that would be more for Brad.
Yeah, I think we're bringing it
Yeah,
back to
we're-
council. There's some interpretations that, yes.
I think this is why we want the dialogue, we want to get the
Yeah.
interactions, we want to
Nice.
continue on with that, so.
I think to your question on like the federation is that it doesn't fit a definition in the motor vehicle act. It's not a bicycle, but it's not like an all-terrain vehicle. It's like there's a,
There's some gray area there.
yeah,
It's kind of, it's modified, it's in somewhere. in
yeah,
between.
it's like a,
I think class 9 is the first one, right? 50cc is the first requirement for license.
yeah.
Current contract.
Okay.
Any additional questions or comments for President LeBlanc?
Thank
Thank you for all you do, we're very thrilled to have you back.
Thank you very much for having me, and hope to see you guys soon.
Thanks for all you do. Happy holidays.
Thank you. See you.
Okay, moving on to item 5. Sorry. Moving on to item 6.2, presentation, public presentation, rezoning application of Homestead Road, PID 01052695 Southeast Regional Service Commission. Hello,
Hi.
Hello, good evening.
welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, good to be back. First time back since the renovation, so.
Yeah.
It's good for it. I'll go through the public presentation for this application, which you were probably introduced to about a month ago. As you know, Guillaume, the planner from this is the one having this file, but he's not able to be here tonight, so I've got to step in for him and try to fill in the gaps. But yeah, the application is for a redesignation and a rezoning of a parcel on Homestead Road with the industrial wing to allow the operation of a business that would maintain shopping carts and have some office uses associated with it as well. So kind of for the general maintenance and service of grocery store related industries. So just kind of a light industrial use there. If you want to go to the next slide, just to refresh the location. So along Homestead Road, there's a property that used to be a gas station. It's close to kind of an RV sales establishment and a mini storage warehouse. The property is currently vacant and besides some kind of rural residential uses along Homestead Road there. Excellent. So I'm here tonight because some rezoning applications, if they don't alter the municipal plan, don't require this public presentation, but because this one does, we're required to do an extra presentation to notify the public of a change to the municipal plan. And from this presentation onwards, there's a 30-day window where people can write in, give their comments. Those will be provided to council. So if folks do have concerns, you may hear from them in the next 30 days. And then there'll be another public hearing for the municipal plan and the zoning bylaw, which will kind of capture all of those comments cohesively. So there's kind of multiple windows where people are writing in for comments, and this is the start of the first one. And this presentation is specifically about the municipal plan. It doesn't get into all those details that are in the zoning bylaw. Next slide. So just a bit of background, I guess, in Salisbury, the new municipal plan, as well as the old one, directed most industrial development to a certain part of the town, kind of along Fredericton Road there on the other side of the Trans-Canada Highway, as council may be aware. But there's also some policy language in the plan that allows council the flexibility to approve other industrial projects on a case-by-case basis where it makes sense. There is some, I guess, criteria or language in the plan for what council should consider when they're thinking about those new applications that might not be within the existing industrial park. So we'll go through that in the next slide, but just to state, I guess, that the request today is for the redesignation of one specific parcel from rural to the industrial zone. So that's the policy on the screen there, which lists what council should consider. So that the activities can comply with federal and provincial legislation. There's adequate setbacks and buffers, including natural areas. Servicing is available, or can be provided by private means, which would be the case with this proposal. And then the site has sufficient access and it's on a suitable road. So when we look at this application, most of that criteria is met. I guess specifically about the road is the old Trans Canada Highway, so DTI has kind of weighed in some comments on that, and generally speaking, it seems like a suitable location. We did have some notes about which direction traffic should be flowing from the site, but it's kind of up to them to place that on their own through the Motor Vehicle Act that we were just talking about. So that's sorted out, and in general, those things have been looked at and will be considered. Like such. So a bit of a site plan of what the applicant is hoping to do. It's a hand-drawn drawing, but there'd be one big main building, which is 50 by 100 feet, a big steel empty building primarily used for storage. And then there'd be some self-storage containers, some sea cans on site as well as potentially some outdoor storage and office use on the. So on the next slide, just a quick shot of what that building looks like. This is just a screenshot pulled from the actual engineering drawings of that building, but I guess a note that when or if this application is approved, then the applicant would need to go through a building permit process, and all of that would be kind of handled through our office as well and verified by building inspections that it meets the building code. Just a couple site photos of what is there today. That house in the background is not on the subject property. It's right next to it, so it's a vacant lot. It has that existing driveway, which I understand would be used for the business. And then this is just a kind of formal schedule. So this is something that would be attached to the actual bylaw that council would adopt, basically showing that PID would be rezoned to the industrial zone. So there will be a public hearing, like I said, on January 26th, which you set the date for at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. And there will be notification of that. So public will have the opportunity to write in. And then, like I said at the beginning, now that we've done this public presentation, we're going to have opened up that formal comment period. So our office will start to collect those comments and pass them on to council as they're received. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
There's no motion for public.
No, exactly, there's no motion. No motion this evening.
Ask a couple questions. Or do we have to?
I think
It's,
can we? I don't know.
so,
I'm happy to answer them. I guess it's kind of outside of the.
It's more for you.
Yes, then.
More for. Yeah, it's more of a process thing than it is, the information here, but I know we talked in the past about like extending notifications. I
Yeah.
assume we'll do that.
Yeah, so this is the first application where we've done under our enhanced notification policy. So when we did that, the decision was made because the Community Planning Act is clear on like the distances that we do. But what we did as an alternate measure is introduce signage on site. That is already on site. So
That's
yeah.
amazing.
So that is on site already.
The other thing is, I know we talked a bit before, because we had another industrial rezoning that we had approved. And we talked a little bit about possibly, I don't know if it was bylaws or within our bylaws and keeping things clean and tidy after. Or like the property upkeep.
that would be
Yeah.
for us to discuss later, no?
Yeah, that would be.
That's what I'm asking.
Can-
That's what-
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, you know what application she's talking about. So yes.
Yeah, so with this specific presentation, I'm just talking about the municipal plan, but there's also like a change to the zoning bylaw. And it's common that council would impose conditions on that change, and those are the types of things that you'd be talking about. So that was the case with the previous application you're talking about. Probably that some conditions that council could consider would be tying the applicant to that site plan, so that you have reviewed and know what type of uses are happening. And then any deviations from that in the future would require them to come back to council for some kind of approval. And then you could also consider limiting the use of the property to the specific use that's being requested. So although you're changing it to industrial zone to allow the shopping cart business, it would prevent somebody from starting a different industrial operation under that zoning. So it's a similar answer to the previous one. You have the opportunity to impose those conditions, and we can kind of continue to work with you as well, what it may be, and with the field to the applicant.
I don't have any thoughts on being really restrictive. I was just thinking more of like, make sure that So I have no issues with sea cans and things because they keep things contained, that's what they're for. Keeps things clean looking and whatever.
It would be nice if they didn't have 3 different colors.
Stipulation of me.
People like the colors.
My OCD will make sure that doesn't happen.
I'm gonna have to draw this back, please. I'm gonna have to draw back in. We can have comments from the gallery, please.
But that, I think on the, it comes through, because that's what we did with the other application, I think, was site plan conditions, I think. Yeah, right? Okay, so that is,
I'm just gonna know anything that questions come forward, we'll have the proponent come forward at the meeting, we'll be able to answer
Right.
anything in a proper fashion for council that allows the public to hear as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that we had a process, or if there was anything not specific to this actual application, because I don't see any issues with the type of business, it's just future.
That's good, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to, we did have another report this evening, but I don't see a presentation here, so they're not here, so we'll move on. We'll move on to 7, reports and recommendations from committee of the whole and private meeting. At 7.1, we don't have a 7.1B. Do I have a motion for recommendations? All right, for recommendation from November 24th committee of the whole.
I'm gonna read the background first, once it loads here, sorry.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Drive safe.
So as always, a brief background. So as presented at committee of the whole on November 24th, town council approved in principle a proposed cultural policy. The policy reflects community engagement and work from the cultural policy development committee following the town selection through a program with the union and municipalities of New Brunswick, UMMB, and artist associations in the province. This policy will guide a future implementation plan and will provide a foundation for integrating arts, culture, and heritage into municipal priorities and programming.
I'll move that council ratify the town of Salisbury cultural policies presented by the Cultural Policy Development Committee at the November 24th, 2025 meeting of Salisbury Town Council Committee of the Whole.
Second night.
By Councillor Thorne, second by Councillor Bannister. Questions to the motion? Seeing no questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Reminded, motion carried. All right, moving on to item number 7.2, recommendations from the November 17th closed meeting.
And again, with background, so during the regular council meeting of November 17th, town council went into closed session for discussion protected by section 68(1)D of the New Brunswick Local Governance Act, given the matter was related to land. During this discussion, council directed staff to enter into or signify to DTI our intent to acquire PID 00815-605 for the appraised price of $1,800 plus expenses, which is being formally ratified on the table this evening.
I'll move the council acquire a parcel of surplus land from the Brunswick Department of Transportation and Infrastructure identified as PID number 00815-605 with acquisition price of $1,800 plus expenses and authorize the clerk mayor to sign and affix the corporate seal on the relevant transfer and release documents accordingly.
So moved by Councillor Leixer, seconded by Deputy Mayor Oblinus. Questions to the motion?
What are the plus expenses?
Sometimes sometimes they make us do surveys and stuff. On this one, it's not, we don't expect that to be the case.
Okay.
We have to pay for the registration.
Very vague.
Yeah,
Plus expenses.
yeah, we have to pay for registration, so sometimes like if we were, I guess, legal fees, yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. They don't pay those pieces, so we're not paying their legal expenses, the province's lawyers do it, but we do have to pay
Right.
our own fees to get it registered, yeah.
Perfect.
Seeing no additional questions, all in favor? Contrary minded, motion carried. Moving on to item 8.1, reports from administration. 8.1, grant recommendations, 8.1A for quality habitat recovery.
I might just speak to the three of them, just kind of collectively, I think, and then, there's separate motions for each of them, but as council knows, we have a grant policy, that, provides the option for proponents to request multi-year, grant requests from the town under our annual allotted amount. We try to encourage proponents to apply for multi-year grants. It provides, assurances to them, but it also helps us plan accordingly. In our grant policy, we have to maintain a small amount of our budget in order to have one-off requests, which are generally requests that we disperse $250 or under throughout the year. Which we try not to bring to council, it helps us approve them quickly. So that amount is still maintained. We have a number of existing agreements that are that will continue to be in place in 2026 and ultimately have 3 requests for consideration that are new multi-year requests. 2 of which are net new requests, 1 of which is an existing agreement that the final year was in 2025. So as council knows, based on previous requests, we've had the proponents, with the exception of 1, come to present to council to give a little bit of an overview of their programming or activities, I guess. 8.1A being Fort Folly Habitat Recovery, their request is to assist with their ongoing fish monitoring that takes place at Highland Park, which has been going on since the causeway reopening. 8.1B is the proponent that hasn't been able to make it to present yet, but is with respect to operating expenses for the market. And then 8.1C is BGC Salisbury, who presented at the last meeting as well. And it's to support, that's in particular to support their food programming in particular. So there is a motion for each of them, and as with the other grants, we will enter into our templated agreement with them unless council wishes to add stipulations or conditions, or we're happy to answer any questions on any of the specifics in terms of the details that we have to date.
I'll move that council approve a multi-year grant for Fort Folly Habitation Recovery in the amount of $1,000 per annum for a period of 3 years, for a total of $3,000 over the term of the agreement, for the purposes of ongoing fish monitoring at Highland Park, and the council require the release of funds to be contingent on securing funding for the project, and the council direct administration to prepare a multi-year agreement with standard stipulations and authorize the clerk, treasurer, and mayor to sign and affix the corporate seal accordingly.
Second.
So moved by Councillor Bannister, second by Councillor Colwell. Questions to motion?
That was a riveting presentation, I absolutely loved that.
It's great.
I agree, very
It's
interesting.
Yeah, very.
Learned a lot.
See no questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Trade minded, motion carried. Moving on to 8.1B. On this item, we did not get the presentation this evening.
Yeah.
Is there any possibility of tabling it?
I would recommend that we table,
Yeah.
if we do that, we have to make a motion to table it.
Yeah, that's the easiest.
I think we have to make a motion to table it. I do believe, as much as we all know the importance of what they provide to our community, it is important for our taxpayers that we have these presentations, so I'd like to have one of you make a motion to table it until we get that presentation.
Just before the motion is made to table it, one thing that I would specify is when it's tabled to, because we've technically moved this from, like, we haven't moved the decision or the recommendation was supposed to come at this meeting, but the presentation was supposed to happen at the previous meeting too, so I would just add
Do you have to add a date, or can you add
Future
to
can
once
be.
they come
I
to
mean,
do their
I
presentation?
think the caveat that, again, on it, that we need the presentation prior to.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we can notify yes, that would be fine,
Okay.
yeah, so it would just be that we defer the decision until such a point where a decision is.
Presentation.
So, which we all,
Right.
we all love what they're doing, and we just have to have that presentation.
That's an interesting point, Sarah, like, are we like
left, right?
holding these funds?
So that's right, well, that's the point, right?
Yeah, that's why I mean, like, a future
why-
date, I would say no,
We're
like,
not holding them,
Yeah.
you come and
Yeah.
we'll consider it.
No, because this
Yeah.
agreement is done, as
Yes,
they're
right,
voting
right.
a new agreement.
And this
but
is
we
a
can't
big
do it
agreement.
Without having a president.
We're right at the front of the line, it's
Yeah.
going
Yes.
to the budget, so.
Right.
I guess we'll just have to stipulate to them, it's imperative to get in to get. us to the
yeah, they'll get a grant notification that says their request was not approved and here's the motion, so we
Right.
need to come back.
Mhm.
Can I say, like, can we test this theory? Can I move that council defer the motion till no later than the end of the first quarter, providing there's funds available? And
I
would indicate we gotta get done in January.
I wouldn't put a date.
It's not on
There's
us.
no need for a date. Just
No.
have the
Yeah.
presentation.
But I think it has to be caveated, if the funds are gone, the funds are gone.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with the deadline, right? That's
That's not our problem.
It's first come, first served.
right.
It should be stipulated in the letter that goes out with the grant saying if
Well-
that,
Yeah,
There's no guarantee
It's only good
funding.
for 6 months, right?
what's
We
that?
have it in our policy, only good for 6 months. or
No,
something?
we have to have them by a certain time, like we asked them for a certain time. The only thing that I would be cautious with a date is, our last meeting is at the very start of April, so if we don't get a presentation by the end of March, there will not be a meeting until June. So, and our agenda for the first 2 months is, so like, we're gonna need to work with them to squeeze them in, and it's not gonna be practical, and we've already tried to reschedule it
No,
twice.
they've canceled twice.
Well, I'll move
Yeah.
that, the, motion until
You received
the request of organization is back in 2026, as soon as it.
Until
Very good, I'm not very serious about getting the grant.
Presented, yeah.
Until the organization, what was it, presents,
It goes to the committee that I want to present
As
comes to a future meeting, yeah,
Yeah,
a future meeting.
presents at
Yeah.
a future meeting.
that's the future.
seconded.
So moved by Councillor Cowell, seconded by Councillor Thorne. Questions to the motion?
I have a question. So it says here, there's, something about property tax offset,
Mhm.
that.
That's what they use their grants for, yeah,
Okay.
or
Is
their
there a way
grant.
to just do it differently, for grant and through a reduction of?
We can't,
We
no.
can't.
Yeah, they would have to work with the province, they might be eligible for those, but I'm not sure what their.
That could be something that we can ask them to look at for the future.
Yeah, that still wouldn't necessarily affect, like, they would still get a property tax bill, they would still get one in some way, like, I don't think that they would qualify for anything that would be totally waive from.
They're
the-
not a not-for-profit, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
They're not a not-for-profit.
Yeah.
If they were a not-for-profit,
Yeah.
they would definitely qualify.
Yeah.
Or if they were in agriculture,
Yeah,
you know, or something like that,
yeah,
Or owned by the town.
or owned by the town, exactly.
but we still have to pay property tax, but, yeah,
Anyway, just thinking
Yeah.
maybe there's a way we can find some information that would might help them.
Yeah.
To herself.
yeah. It, like, and that was the intent of their grant when they applied in 22, and the
Yeah.
facilitator approved it, yeah. So that was their proposal to continue that, it's just to offset some of their operating expenses basically, but with the
These
primary
things
function.
can't be given, they have to be
Agreed.
responsible to the request. I mean,
These are the conditions.
Yeah.
Meet them or don't.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's arguing, but then. it's how we-
Oh, no,
Yeah,
I think we're all
stuff. It's just-
supporting it.
it's fantastic,
We'd love them to get it.
yes.
Yeah, and I think the same idea, if there's any breaks we can get them, we can work with them on it, but you
Yeah.
have to ask.
You gotta jump through the hoop.
Okay. With that, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Moving on to item 8.1C, Salisbury Boys and Girls Club, or SBGC.
I'll move the council approve a grant in the amount of $2,000 per annum for a term of 5 years, totaling $10,000 over the term of the agreement to provide financial assistance toward current and future programming of the Boys and Girls Club Salisbury, with standard grant conditions and direct administration to prepare the multi-year agreement and authorize the mayor and clerk/treasurer to sign said agreement and affix the corporate seal for it.
Seconded. Moved by Deputy Mayor Oblina, seconded by Councillor Dykstra. Questions to the motion?
I don't have a question, but I loved their presentation.
Yeah.
I signed my child up immediately for the babysitting
Yeah.
course, and 3 of her friends also went, so like, it was things that I didn't know about that were happening in town, and, yeah, it was really beneficial.
How cool is that?
So council exactly, Thorne, but that's why we want the farmer's market to come present,
Yeah,
because it'd be videoed and then people in the public can see all the wonderful things that are happening, right? So that's, I guess for anybody listening to this video, that is the importance of coming before council, is to show the public all the amazing things that happen, because
Advertising.
yeah, and I so often hear online, there's nothing here for kids to do. There is so much here for kids to do,
yeah,
but we have to, you have to sometimes ask them.
programs are incredible.
My daughter took that course 10 years ago.
Mine too.
So fun.
My boat.
Doesn't make it feel like.
All right, seeing no additional comments or questions, all in favor? Contrary minded, motion carried. Moving on to item 8.2, capital renewal funding, capital renewal plan.
So this was a late addition to the agenda, on my part, so my apologies, but it was approved in principle at committee of the whole last month. when we approved the capital plan, which would have been at our regular council meeting, not committee of the whole. But this is the new pot of provincial funding, the capital renewal funding, which is the fiscal reform money, basically, we generally know it as. So they provide, a confirmed allocation for 2026 and then an anticipated or estimated allocation thereafter. Very similar to PMHP or CCBF, we have to submit a plan or an investment plan to the province. It's due by the 15th this year. The 3 projects that we're proposing, which are noted in our capital plan, these are new projects and our capital plan reflects these allocations, is for sludge removal in 27. Baseball field lights, and then towards our street rehabilitation efforts. Those are the 3, and then we'll have to update this plan every year, like we do with PMHP, as they update our estimates based on the fiscal reform formulas. So with that, motion on the floor, and then questions.
I move that the document entitled Town of Salisbury 2026 to 2029 Capital Renewal Plan, CRP, for the Capital Renewal Funding, CRF, allocation be adopted.
Moved by Councillor Bannister, seconded by Councillor Thorne. Questions to the motion?
Are we tied to these items or can they change like the,
They can change.
Okay.
Yeah, they can change. Yeah, they can, like every year has to be adopted by council. So council can choose at that point to change or not change. But technically, if a project were to come up and it was short and it was eligible for this, we could bring it forward again. Yeah, our capital plan reflects it, so it needs tweaks in those, but it's normal to make changes to that based on the funding that comes in.
Part of that list, there was 3 items, but they had room for 10. Does it make sense to have more items submitted, or is that just qualified from our perspective?
It's just based on our 5-year capital plan priorities, and they're projects that have limited ability to have other funds.
Sources.
Yeah, so, like sludge removal, for example, we've submitted probably 3 applications in the last couple of years, and it's considered maintenance, and it's not eligible for funding. This is a perfect way that we're kind of deferring 2026's funding under this program, putting that in 2027's plus CCBF, and it'll be paid for. If that's out of the utility where there's not a lot of money to make those things happen, so it's a good example of how this can help. And then the others, like if, for example, if we were to get funding for the baseball field lights that paid for them, then we wouldn't want to use this funding if we could get it from somewhere else, we could put that towards, so.
It just seems like we should have a wish list of all the things we'd like to have done.
Yeah, and that's.
Available to whoever funding.
That's kind of like what the 5-year capital plan is, but right now and this doesn't go for a full 5 years. So there's things on the capital plan that eventually this will help fund after. There could be more grant funding that it's always like a puzzle piece that is no different, but we still have to submit a plan for every year. Yeah.
Cool. Seeing no additional questions, all in favor? Reminded, motion carried. Moving on to item 9, bylaws, 9.1, animal control bylaw.
So both of these items are amendments to schedules, which can be done by way of one resolution, but for 9.1 animal control, we're proposing an amendment to the schedule of that bylaw, to permit the sale of dog tags online starting next year in mid-January is the target date. And essentially to allow us to add the processing fees onto that, we require a motion to amend the schedule. I was gonna speak to 9.2, but I'll leave it at that, it's a separate motion. So this would become an amended schedule and then would be added to the consolidated bylaw if approved. So with that recommendation, then questions?
I'll move that council approve the modifications to Schedule B of Town of Salisbury bylaw number 10, a bylaw related to the establishment of control of animals in Salisbury to permit the addition of processing fees for online dog tag purchases.
So moved by Councillor Colwell,
Second.
seconded by Councillor Dykstra. Questions to the motion?
I have a couple. Will people still be able to come into the office and purchase their?
Not at the vet office.
That
But
was
here,
the questions. I was like, a little more information on that comment
Yeah.
about
It's too bad.
was,
Yeah.
they were frustrated that they had to buy dog tags and they were venting to the staff
Yeah.
or?
Yeah, so there was a lot of frustrations from people in former LSDs, yeah. And they always had to buy them, it just wasn't administered through the town. So it's just not worth the headache for them, rightfully so, they shouldn't have to deal with the frustrations from residents, so.
This was the first I heard that, so I was just
Yeah,
curious.
yeah, we were made aware at the end of while I was there with my dog for her vaccines, it was, that's what I was told, like, that there was some headaches, so. They and will still ask to see, I doubt that they had a change of heart, they're more than happy to put, like, they'll put promotions and stuff out for us, like, that's not an issue. But they just don't want to administer the sale of them. Yeah. Are those the only two? Yeah, perfect.
Thank you.
2 and 1.
All right, no additional questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded, motion carried. Moving on to 9.2, sewer bylaw.
Similar to the last, this is an amendment to just the schedule, as part of our preparation for the 2026 billing cycle. We went through some properties, to confirm adherence to the schedule in the sewer, collection bylaw, which basically assigns units to different uses. So, some of them are what we would consider high usage, but don't get billed accordingly, because they only fit under certain categories in the bylaw. So, there is, basically the amendment to the schedule is to allow the town to undertake flow monitoring and bill based on that. If it's a new property that's constructed, we require flow, estimates to, in certain cases, to, calculate fees under the local improvement bylaw that's in place in certain areas. And that can assist us in providing, we can charge based on that. But this would allow us to do that for some that, we believe are high usage, just based on their usage, and output into the system. But in order to do that, it's much easier for us to have that in the schedule that says we have the authority to do that and start monitoring. Generally takes a long time, because you want to do a couple times a year. You want to get either peak flow, so summertime when there's a lot of traffic, and then you want to go in the winter time and you want to take an average. As opposed to going in the summertime when you go on a long weekend, if you monitor it for 4 days and it's crazy busy, as an example. So, that's why we want to have that modification there, and then, we can start, exploring. There's a handful, I would say, that we're hopeful to look at this, to use this clause for. So with that, motion on the floor, a recommendation on the floor, and then any questions?
I'll move that council approve revised site B of bylaw number 6, a bylaw respecting sewerage and the collection of user charges for the sanitary sewer system in Salford as presented to permit flow monitoring for the basis of fees at the discretion of the town, and the addition of sewer certificate as a related fee with a cost of $25 per certificate.
Second.
I forgot to mention that piece too, that we're adding sewer certificate, sorry.
Councilor Dykstra did, so, good job, Councilor Dykstra, sorry. So moved by Councilor Dykstra, second by Councilor Thorne. Questions to the motion?
I have one curiosity. How do they do the flow
They put them in the manholes and it,
and find the specific property?
Yes,
yes, yeah.
Dipstick.
Yeah. Gross.
it literally measures the flow.
Yeah,
Yep, I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah.
It is.
It
Yeah.
is.
There's some pretty
Like this thing.
cool technology now
Yeah.
for.
we have done it for some
Yes.
properties before, yeah.
Is the per unit, like the unit on the certificate? Schedule B,
Yeah. Sorry, are you asking if it's,
so that schedule B, it's $25 per certificate,
yeah,
and based on the condition.
no, it's just based on, so like if someone comes, it's not, that's only when someone's selling a property. So when someone's selling a property and or refinancing, when the lawyer comes to right now we charge $10, so then,
Or an encumbrance certificate, however you
Yeah.
want to word it.
yeah. It's part of a transaction, that has technically nothing to do with, like, if a unit, the school has like 70 units or something based on students, they're not, if the school were to change hands, that wouldn't happen, but let's say the province were to sell the building, they're not being charged 70 times 25,
Oh,
it's just 25. Yeah,
Cost
But-
per property.
per transaction, basically, yeah. That's adding that into the bylaw, the piece on flow is if there's a property that under that bylaw gets charged 1 unit, because they fit that description, but is a high usage in terms of output into the system, we would be allowed to monitor flow to then charge based on flow to determine the equivalent in units as opposed to just whether or not they meet that definition.
So
If you're 100 units.
would we need to monitor all of them to know that? How would we know that? Just like which ones to monitor?
We would, there's there's a handful of properties that are low hanging fruit that are not,
Criteria.
yeah, that are, I can't say that in a public meeting,
No.
but, that are high usage just by nature of what they do, yeah, yes. And just don't fit, or we could add a category that says XYZ category, X amount of units, but those are based on like general usage, like that you can compare basically to the equivalent of a home. It's hard to do that unless you monitor flow for some of these one-offs.
What does the flow charge look like?
What does the what?
Flow charge look like?
We would compare it to the equivalent amount of homes, one home equals one unit, so then you would compare that, yeah. Yeah, it's very similar to, the process is similar to when if someone builds a new unit or a new property on a new property that's under the local improvement agreement, they have to give us a flow and then there's a fee calculated based on daily flow, yeah.
Thank you.
Similar principle to that, not same formula, but similar principle.
Thanks.
Okay, seeing no additional questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Moving on to item 10.1, contractual 68(1)C Local Governance Act plus land 68(1)D Local Governance Act. We have a motion to enter into close. So enter, so moved by Councillor Colwell, seconded by Councillor Thorne. Questions to the motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Reminded, we're now entering into close. Motion enter back into the regular session. Moved by Councillor Thorne, seconded by Councillor Cole, or Dykstra, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Reminded, we'll now enter back into the regular session.
Let's read.
All right, we are now back into the regular session. We'll move on to item number 11, mayor and councillor statements. I just have one to thank the town staff and everyone that volunteered at the tree lighting ceremony on Thursday night. Beautiful, yeah.
Really nice.
Simply phenomenal, and we got the hallmark, so adding on to that, I got rave reviews from people in the city on the weekend and people who came, so kudos to everyone. Anything else from council? Seeing nothing, we'll move on to item number 13, which is move to adjourn.
It's 12, we skipped,
12.
yeah, that's coming in a future minute.
Oh, second.
Sorry, I've never seen anybody for adjournment actually with any silence.
Well, I didn't realize what was happening.
So Councillor Caldwell, moved by Councillor Thorne, all in favor? Aye. Reminded, we're now adjourned. Thank you.